Hey, feels like it's video time again. And those of you that know me know how much I just love doing this. So step through the fear. I want to share not a meditation today, but an insight. An insight into maybe how to look at things a little differently. An insight into what my coaching and the teachings that I have are based off of. This can help you to look at things a whole lot different. So if you're open, I'm going to do that with you today. This is my whiteboard. And the reason that I need to draw is because as humans, we think in pictures. So if I ask you to tell me what your refrigerator looks like, you will picture it in your head what it looks like, and then you will recite it back to me. So what color your fridge is, if the doors are side by side or one on top of the other, which way they open, what's inside, all those kind of things. Same with your car, if I ask you what your car looks like. So when we are always talking about the mind, if I ask someone what they picture the mind to look like, usually the brain pops up. But the brain and the mind are not necessarily the same thing. So what I like to do is offer you a picture of your mind. This work I learned from Bob Proctor, who learned it from someone else, and it's out there like crazy in the coaching world, but just like a little touch on it, not such a deep explanation, which is what I'm going to go into today for sure. So if you're open to it, I'm going to show you a picture of your mind. And it definitely starts when you're young. So you're born, and this, let's just say, is your mind. Okay? It's empty. You are perfect. And then generally, you have these two people that contribute to the filling of your mind. Usually mom and dad. So the way that they do things, you form a picture in your head of who you are based on what they say. So if, I don't know, let's just say if dad was someone who spoke about always being broke, can you believe they spent this much money on it? We have to save, save, save. Like all those kind of words coming out of his mouth would most likely bring a picture of a negative mindset into your head around money. Because if you take a look around, that's about 99% of the world has a negative mindset around many things, including money. Personal story for me is when I was 6, my dad made an offhanded comment about it's okay if you're a couple pounds overweight. I was 6 and I was not overweight, but my mind definitely latched onto that. So I formed in my head a picture that I still battle with today, the fat girl picture. So around comes the age of 7, 8, 9, and it seals this picture in. You now have these pictures in your head forever until you actually recognize it. So we grow up. Down here is where the pictures are. So let's just put that negative mindset. Let's put that fat girl back in there. Okay. This down here, this is your emotional mind. Also known as the subconscious. You've probably heard about it, the SC. And up here, this is the conscious mind, or the thinking mind. So we literally have thoughts coming to us all day long. Lots of them. No longer just from mom and dad. We have opened to the fact that there is media, the internet, of course, friends, teachers. There's a plethora of places to get other outer knowledge from. So we literally have thoughts coming at us all the time. There's lots of statistics thrown out there. One that I heard is about 60,000 thoughts a day. The crazy thing about that is that you had all 60,000 of them yesterday and the day before and for the past 20 years if you're that old. So the funny thing about thoughts is that we are choosing all the time which ones to entertain and which ones to let go of. So if someone brings in, a story of lack of money, yeah, you'll take that. I'm broke, sure. If someone brings you a story of being fat, ugly, a bitch, some negativity around that, you'll take that. But let's just think about the person whose partner says, "You're so beautiful and I love you." We're really quick to just push that right out of there, not accept it at all, because that doesn't fit with the picture of who we are in our head. And this is happening without us even knowing. Okay, so I'm going to introduce you to some different concepts. Right now, over 99% of the population of the world is in an ignorant mindset. So I love these kind of words because what we've done is taken words and made them bad ones. So ignorant literally means just unaware. It doesn't mean you're stupid. It doesn't mean anything. It means we're ignorant. We're unaware. We are unaware that we have thoughts coming to us all the time and that we are choosing the ones without even knowing that really fit with our mental picture of who we are. Okay? So when you come from an ignorant mindset, you really entertain thoughts of shame and guilt and doubt all the time, right? Just think about what thoughts you think and if you ever feel bad about things. And the reason that we do this is literally because we have a mindset of fear, a subconscious mindset of fear. Okay, so our thoughts create our reality. I don't know if you've ever heard that before, but literally our thoughts come, we choose the ones we want, we become emotionally involved with them, and then they manifest physically. So I'm going to show you what I mean by this. Going back to ignorant mindset, always thinking about, mostly thinking about shame, guilt, and doubt. Because we're really emotionally involved with fear, produces anxiety. I mean, I teach a lot of yoga classes. I teach kids yoga, I teach adult yoga, I teach meditation. And what I find right now is that the majority of people that are in my classes complain either about their kids having anxiety or are coming to get rid of their anxiety. The crazy thing is that literally meditation is just replacing medication. People are coming to meditation to get rid of their anxiety, not really look at why they have it. And the crazy thing is that when you meditate, it really brings up the reasons why you have anxiety. And this usually pushes people away because that's what we tend to do is fight it because we're afraid. So anxiety is the physical manifestation of fear. And we are literally living in fear. I mean, the media knows it. The government knows it. Everyone knows it. And when we feel anxiety, instead of wanting to know why, we just want to get rid of it. So there's crazy statistics out there, and 75% of all statistics are made up. But what I heard was 85% of all of the people in North America are on antidepressants. That's 3/4 of the population of North America. And even crazier is that the efficacy of those drugs are 5 years. Sometimes people are on the same antidepressants for 20 years, which means they're literally not doing anything except causing side effects, which means more medication. Anyways, not this discussion. What we're doing when we do that is suppressing the anxiety. And when you suppress anxiety, after some time, it's felt as depression. And now I don't mean like depression, like you need to be on medication, of course, and that you need to be on medication and put in a psych ward. I mean literally that take a look around. 99% of the world is depressed. We're living in this crazy time right now. So when you feel depression in your body, after some time, it's experienced as dis-ease, non-health, chronic pain, chronic fatigue, any kind of medical condition that you may have in your body is experienced because literally this is just what happens. You are creating your reality. This, had I known when I was in the healthcare field, could have helped me to help others a little bit better, but obviously that was my journey and I had to leave it. Your cells are always doing one thing or the other. They're never doing something together. And so if you are in this mindset, your cells are disintegrating. Creation or disintegration. And so just have a look at that. But I'm here to tell you there's another way. If you take the thoughts coming at us all times, I can give you a completely different analogy or metaphor. And I like to use the breath because it's the same. We're breathing all the time, 24 hours a day. And we're not really worried about it. We're not always thinking about, if I don't breathe, I die, which is really the reality of it. It's crazy. We're busy thinking about other fears that probably will never happen in life or might, and you spent all this time wrecking your time worrying about it. So we're breathing all the time, 24 hours a day. You never really miss a breath unless you do it on purpose. And that's just being unaware. That's being unconsciously unconscious. And at some point, if you go to yoga or meditation, your teacher will tell you to become aware of your breath or focus on your breath. Big difference. Just that awareness that you actually have impact on your breath changes it. And that is just becoming consciously unconscious. For a moment, you're aware of the fact that you're breathing and that you can have an impact on it. As life goes, we often go back to unconscious breathing. But each and every moment that you are aware of your breath actually helps you to live longer. You take a deeper breath. Breathing deeper means you live longer. So every time you have a moment of awareness, it changes your unconscious behaviors, your unconscious pattern, and it helps you to live longer. And the funny thing is that you go back to unconscious breathing, but you don't sit there and give yourself shit for it. You're not like, oh my God, look at that. I've been breathing so shallow. We don't do that, but we do that with our thoughts, which is also kind of interesting. So I'm going to move forward to another way that currently approximately 1% of the population of the entire world is practicing right now. 1%. And that is coming from a place of knowledge. So switching from being ignorant to knowledge through study makes you entertain different thoughts of understanding. Because emotionally, you're involved in faith. So you can say it any way you want, depending on whatever background you have, okay? This simply, faith or love, this simply is probably not taken 100% for atheists, but it just means that there's like something more. And that something more is literally here for your benefit, not your demise. It's not a dude sitting in the clouds that's watching every move you make to decide if you're going to burn in hell for the rest of your life or live in this beautiful, light, grassy, whatever. It literally just means that there's something more, and that something more is here for you. And so when you live in faith or love, then things really change. What comes out of your body is well-being. And you don't want to suppress that shit. You want to express it. You want to share it. And when you express well-being, something crazy happens. You experience true happiness. And when you're happy, so is your body. When you're happy, you're healthy. Those two words go so well together. At ease. And since your cells are always doing one thing or another, in this line of thinking, your cells are always creating. And so this is literally the basis of my teachings. They look backwards, so I hope they're not when I put this out there. But what a different concept. I mean, if you take the picture of the fat girl, one that I know all too well, and you, like, if you look in the mirror, you see a fat girl. It doesn't matter what is actually there physically. It's what is seen in the mirror. So you take a picture of the fat girl and you lose 150 pounds. It's crazy because that person literally still sees the fat person in the mirror. And our minds are like these powerful, amazing things. And we're often really trained to do something if we lose stuff. And that's to look for it, to find it. So if you still have this picture in your head of a fat person and you've lost a lot of weight, your mind is going to make sure to find that weight and put it back on your body. And a couple extra pounds just to make sure that that never happens again. This is a perfect story of yo-yo dieters because they are making the impact on their physical body, not their emotional mind. Yet if they just change their emotional mind through repetition or emotional impact, then they could change what they think of themselves. And literally, the weight just falls off. But this is some deep work, some deep-rooted shit from when you're a kid. And you really have to be open and willing to go deep down into the wounds and kind of pull them out, look at them. You have to be open to accept your responsibility and everything as well. This happens with money. You know, they did in the States, they did a study, and it was around, environment versus genes. And what they found, I mean, nature versus nurture, it's still a huge argument. But what they found was that welfare recipients, some of the people, a good majority of the people receiving welfare, their parents received welfare, whose parents received welfare, literally going back 5 generations to the beginning of welfare. It's kind of crazy because that's literally the mindset that they're brought up with, is this lack, this negativity around money. And so even if that person, struck it rich in the lottery, they just give away the money until they have less than what they had to start with, which is the case with most people that win the lottery. They actually go broker than they did before they had the money. And it all has to do with mindset. So when you work with a coach, What you do is you look at this mindset, and through repetition and emotional impact, you change it to what you want it to be, to happy, to healthy, to abundant, to good relationships. But it takes a lot of work. And so I love the business aspect of things. That's where I have focused. That's where I have excelled, is in the business aspect of things. But business is a spiritual game. I mean, it's a reality. You can get little parts, like some people are just naturally good at some parts, maybe the money part, maybe the healthy part. But without doing the work everywhere, you're still going to have blocks in other areas. So when you start to look at money and you start to look at what's going on inside of you, things change. Because deep down, if you feel you're not good enough or you're unlovable or not worthy, then it doesn't matter if you look at the abundance aspect of things and start bringing in money. You're literally going to get rid of it. It's like losing the physical weight but not changing the picture in your head. You'll go back to where you were, but even more. So just to make it really concrete. So I want to share this so that you have the basis of what it is that I do for my teaching, what it is that we look at all the time. There's so much more to this picture, so many more beautiful drawings that I can offer that come from this. But I found that in us, like if you want to coach with me or even want to know what coaching is about, I offer one session with everyone for free, just to see if we're to work together, if we're a match. And in that, I find that I'm spending a majority, almost half an hour of my time showing you this picture. And really, we want to go deep. So I'm offering this before you come, so that we can really talk about these things, but you've already got that basis behind you. So I hope that this has been helpful to you. If you want to reach out, give me a call. Let's talk, get together, online, on the phone. I hope that you have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you soon.